Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of E-Heroes for those keeping count. This is episode 373. And my next guest, is really very intelligent. I've looked over a lot of her stuff, and I just met her. But we're going to talk about exponential impact and your income, because I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that, you know, not only does AI scare them, but their business might not be doing as well as they had hoped. And I want to tell you, it's not your business, maybe it's your mindset. And so I want to welcome Amanda Dake to the show, and this is going to be a good one. So pay attention.
Thanks, Rob.
We off air we were talking a little bit about the entrepreneur journey, and I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years straight. Before that, I had a business that I created in 1989 that crashed and burned within a year, and it took me another 6 years till I had the gumption to start over again. And so I always tell people 30 years of being a no safety net entrepreneur, and they don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
I have nobody else to lean on. I don't have a fallback job.
Yeah.
And so people are like, well, Rob, how does that impact your life? I said, and my answer always is it's not about money. It's about freedom. I started this business to have more freedom because was I'm not I don't like bosses. I don't like people telling
Yeah.
me what to do. I have to be the one telling other people what to do. And so having freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it was more important than money.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people say, well, Rob, that's kind of crazy because money is what impacts the world. Does it though?
Does it? Money does give you, though, choices,
Hmm.
the ability to have more choices. And then that can in turn equate some freedom, right? But the freedom I think that you're speaking of is you're not confined to a, a desk, a cubicle, a location,
Hmm.
rules imposed by bureaucracies and red tape, like all the other freedoms.
Hmm.
Those outweigh the money. The money is a byproduct. I've
Right.
learned that over the years, right? The byproduct of the contribution that you're putting out there. And that's where that exponential impact kind of thing comes in too, right?
Well,
So,
and it also comes back to, ideas. Every entrepreneur has an idea of they're what they want to contribute to the world.
yeah.
Maybe it doesn't always happen, and my father-in-law, bless his soul, he died a few years ago, but he was a self-employed carpenter, and he had all these brilliant ideas, but he never implemented them. And every time I would create marketing around what he wanted to do, he scared himself. He didn't want to,
Mhm.
he's like, well, if this happens, then I'll make more money, or I have to hire people, or I have to do this, I have to do that. And then he froze and didn't do any of it. And
Yeah.
and and there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are out there just like that. They
I
think,
think it's
well,
they're thinking too many steps ahead
yeah,
and creating the problem, creating the friction. When that stuff it just works itself out once you get to the point. And if it is a challenge, then it's just something you get to overcome. But yeah, I see a lot of people stopping when they start overthinking in the for the future that hasn't happened yet.
right. A lot of listeners know my journey from carpet cleaner to media consultant. And in 2013, before I sold my cleaning business, I had started this consulting company in 2001, but I really didn't do much with it until I wrote my first book, which
Mhm.
put me on the map. And for me, writing that book was a step towards something different. And everybody out there was like, Rob, what do you want a book for? You had this carpet cleaning business, and a lot of them didn't know that I already had a marketing business.
Yeah.
So I wrote this book about social media because of all the problems I was having trying to figure this crap out. And but then I tried to take the book to a publisher, and they wanted these thick books, they wanted these technical things, and I wanted to just keep it simple.
Yep.
And so I created my own publishing company, sold 2,000 books right away, and I'm like, wow, you know, I was just astonished. And then people were like, well, Rob, I love the simplicity of the book. Can you help me write my book? So one thing, that one idea to start my own publishing company not only helped me, but I've been able to help so many other people.
Yep.
And there's just still a lot of people out there. Well, Rob, you had opportunity. I have the same opportunity to you. And, it's like trying to convince somebody to take action and they don't want to do it. And I just made a video about it, about everybody's out there hoping, but they're not taking action to make that hope work.
Yep. And it doesn't even have to be anything life changing. It can be as much you're talking about writing a book, it can just be as much about creating the outline.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be like you're upending everything that you know and going full on into this other place, this other unknown. You can just take it what Mel Robbins says, brick by brick, like step by step. Like it's
Hmm.
just that's where the overwhelm comes in when you start thinking of it as this whole thing that you have to cancel out everything that you've already been doing your whole life and start over.
Hmm.
But actually, everything you've done your whole life is actually what you probably should be talking about
Yeah.
and helping others through.
It's funny. I look back and my senior year of high school was 1986, 87. And that final year, I took a course on computer programming. And nobody ever uses that type of programs anymore because we had these big, bulky computers and they're Radio Shack TSR-80s. And you'd get a hernia just lifting these things. But that basic understanding of computers allowed me to adapt to
Mhm.
building websites for clients. It allowed me to be able to troubleshoot a lot of the things that people are having. And Rob, that's 30-year old technology that how do you, it's still the same basic understanding of code. It's like taking
Yeah,
Spanish in high school. You go over
right,
to
the
Madrid and
language.
now you're picking it up.
Yeah. Did you have the, the printers were massive, and I remember in high school and even college, the printers took the paper that was all connected, and you had to rip the edges off of each side. I don't know what the name of those printers were, but it made the
They're,
same noise, like
yeah,
"bzz, bzz, bzz," like
I think
it
they
was
were what are the old dot matrix ones, and they were so loud and
every piece of paper came in a big box like paper boxes now, but they were all connected. You could lift one page and the whole thing.
yeah,
I
it
remember
was,
those.
and the big floppy disks that you had to put
Oh,
in,
yeah.
and now it's I have a Mac and I've had this Mac for about 10 years and I looked at it the other day because it was slowing down and I thought, oh, it's almost full of memory. So I
Yeah,
ended up ordering a 2 terabyte hard drive to put on it, and it was like so cheap. And so I backed everything up and then started deleting everything off my computer, and now it runs faster.
yeah,
But, you
yeah.
know, here you go. You got 10 years of screenshots. You got
I know.
downloads that don't do anything. And so,
Video files that
yeah,
may or may not be relevant anymore. I get it. We
but, you know, going through all this, it sparked a lot of ideas for me, and I started writing them down. And I think this is the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs. We get, like you said, overwhelmed. And I look at the day, I look at the things that I'm doing and the things that people are complaining about online, and I'll just make videos about them.
Mhm.
And because if someone is already expressing a pain point or a frustration, and I'm answering that in a video, now I've become the authority.
Yep.
Or maybe not the authority, maybe just a friend that they can reach out to,
Yeah, a resource.
a resource. And so, now my my YouTube and my TikTok and all these people are reaching out. Not always positive, but you get some negative stuff,
Yeah.
then you just turn it around and make another video about it. And that was the reason back in 2001 I started on Spock Media, and I put it on my website. It was a frustration that I was having running one company and utilizing, the yellow pages or the magazines to design my ads that look like just everybody else's.
Yeah.
And so I took that idea and created something new. And I created impact and legacy and but to me, I didn't realize it was legacy until a few years ago. And as I got older, it's like, what is my legacy? What do I want to be known for? And so I actually wrote a book about it. And so why don't we just take some of these ideas that you have, wild or not, and do something with them?
Yeah. I think you said something really important is about you paid attention to people and what their problems were
Yeah.
or are. And then you helped create a solution for that or a remedy or whatever. And I think a lot of times when I see some businesses or entrepreneurs not do as well as they had hoped is because they're not out there solving a problem for others. They're putting stuff out there to solve their own problem. So they're hoping that someone's going to buy the thing to solve their money problem
Mhm.
rather than putting the thing out there to serve the person that actually needs the solution.
Right.
So sometimes they can be the same thing, but paying attention to the actual people that you want to help and just really thinking about how you can help them,
Mhm.
that's the answer. It's not just ideas are fantastic, but the need for the idea is also important. I've had a lot of ideas. And some of the things, do you ever have the ideas and you're like, dang, I should create this thing, like some random whatever, and you just let it go. And then next thing you know, it's on the marketplace.
Mhm.
That's what's crazy. I had this idea a long time ago when we had an attic before the days of having, like, if you have an upstairs, now they have a door upstairs that goes into your attic. Typically, you would had to climb this death ladder in your garage. If you could pull it down with all
One
the
of
stuff in your
those.
garage, you'd have to climb this thing and then get up there and hopefully find what you want. And then think about a Christmas tree, right? If you have an artificial Christmas tree, you got to figure out how you're going to get that sucker down the ladder of death, right? With the big Christmas tree. Usually you just shoot it down and hope it doesn't break at the bottom or hit something down. So I had this idea to create this like elevator in your garage for your attic. And next thing you know, not 2 years after I had that idea, that's what they're selling on the on infomercials. But then now, that was a long time ago. The homes are built different now, and you
Yeah,
can access the
I
attic space a little
I've
bit
been in this
easier.
house for 20 some years. It was built in 1955 by a master craftsman, and every contractor I have come in this house, they curse me out because the floors are so thick and everything's in line and it's like, oh,
But the thing is, that's an idea that I talked myself out of because I had no idea how to do anything like that. Like a physical thing, a physical product, taking it and then having a prototype, like all the things. Like I just talked myself out of it when it could have been, my retirement. It could have been,
well,
and
let's
it could have helped a
let's
lot of people.
well, let's talk about that. I mean, you created this business to help people. When
Yeah.
did you come up with that idea that, I don't know if you had a job before that or you just stepped
Mhm.
into it, but you had to have this grand notion in your head that says, you know what, I'm done working for the man. Now I have to create something that
Yeah.
you know uh, will help more people.
So I was a teacher for 12 years. I taught high school science
I'm sorry.
and coached tennis. So I always had this.
No,
I
but the
know.
thing is, my high school teacher was the best. My science teacher, man, I think he sparked more ideas in me than anything.
Well, my dad was a teacher also. Both my parents were educators. And when I told him that is what I was gonna major in college, he just looked at me and said, "Haven't I taught you anything?" Like, he did not want me to go follow his footsteps, but I did. And I mean, think about it. I came from a family of educators that's all I knew. I had been in school, my parents worked in a school, so I'll just do the same thing. It was a very safe move for me. Plus, yeah, summer's off. Like, what the heck? That's awesome. So I did that. And, you know, even summer's off, it does not make up for the lack of pay or respect that you get in the classroom. And there's a lot of bureaucracy. And so after 12 years of that, I had two young sons at the time. I just didn't want to do it anymore. But I mean, as a teacher, I went there to help others,
Mhm.
right? It wasn't just about summers off. But and I loved there is an autonomy to being a teacher, or there was. It may not be so much now, but I liked being able to create.
Mhm.
And that's what I now I look back at my time as the teacher, and I loved creating the plans and setting up the space for the students, and I did not enjoy the monotony of repeating myself 6 times a day, or, and every year was the same. You kind of follow the same curriculum and do the same. So I would try to switch it up as much as I could, for my sake as well as their sake. Like, kids get bored too.
Mhm.
But I just couldn't do it anymore. And that here's the trigger. Like, for me, it's like this intuition kicked in that sometimes we push off to the side and not really pay attention to it, or we don't really listen to it. But I was crying at my desk every morning after I dropped off my boys. I had first hour off, right? So, but I had time. I wasn't like bawling, right? But I just sat there when I got to work and I was like, this is not it.
Mhm.
And I just knew there was something in me saying, you're meant for more. You're meant to do more. You're meant to help more people. And so, without any plan, without any back, like, safety net, like we talked about, I went into the office on a random day in February of 2011, and I said, I'm not coming back after this school year. No idea what I was gonna do, but I had time to figure it out, right? I still had a paycheck coming until, like, August, right? Which was $1,500 a month, by the way. 12 years teaching experience with a master's degree and hours towards my PhD, and that's the money that I brought home. So, in the 2000s too, it wasn't like this is 1960, like, it was not very much. So, but I had some time to figure out what was next. And but just by listening to my gut, listening to my intuition, taking a deep breath and going in there and doing that, the doors started to open after I made that decision. And that's really one of the first times in my life that I truly understood the power of decision.
Mhm.
And from there, I don't know, I just took a lot of times now you see things like you have to say no to all the things to stay focused. Well, when you don't have a focus, you can say yes to everything
Mhm.
until you figure out what your focus is. And so that's what I did. I just started saying yes to different things that were coming in, like, that were interesting to me. And 15 years later, I'm still evolving and growing and learning. But yeah, it never would have happened had I not listened to my own intuition
Mm.
and taken that really scary, brave leap, back on that random February day.
I always tell people I'm always evolving. I as an entrepreneur, I went from owning a carpet cleaning business to a marketing business to a publishing company. I'm consulting, I'm teaching people. I'm not gonna teach them the AI like they want. I'm gonna teach them
Mhm.
the AI that needs to happen for them, you know,
Yeah.
to try to spark their creativity because and this is what I complain to lawyers all the time. You see billboards, you see ads, they always put their image out there because it brings about some type of trust. But now you got lawyers that are cloning themselves on AI, having the AI speak for them.
Yeah.
How is that trust?
Mm-mm. How do you feel about that? I see a lot of it. So we live in the marketing bubble, right? You and I do. The people I help do not. So, but I'm bombarded by AI things
Mhm.
to market yourself, to take that off your plate, automate it, whatever. And cloning yourself as an AI clone and doing that, I am not gonna do it, but I just wondered
I
what
don't,
your opinion of it
I
is.
don't mind AI helping with certain tasks, behind the scenes stuff that nobody's ever gonna see. Whether it helps you correct your grammar, whether it helps you with numbers, whether it helps you with, graphics, whatever it is, but don't have it replicate you, okay?
Yeah.
Because people trust you. They trust your image, they trust your voice. But if now that's replicated, who are they trusting really? Are they trusting you or are they trusting the clone?
Yeah. And look how
So
fast it's moving. I mean, from just a year ago to today, it's exponential in how the technology has advanced. You know, not long ago, you could really tell when a video was not real. And
mhm.
now, I didn't know that a Labrador could shoot a rifle. Like, that's what I'm seeing. Like,
Yeah,
so,
the technology is coming along. I mean, you could usually spot it with, you had 10 fingers on a person or they were all
yeah.
twisted up and it's like, okay, yeah, that's AI. But now it's getting
Now,
very hard to tell, and that's why I tell people the more real that you can be with your imperfections, get on video. What I've noticed is that the AI will take your imperfections and they'll make you perfect. We're
uh-huh.
not perfect. We
No.
have zits, we got this, we got embrace that. Get out there and if you have
I
crooked
think
teeth,
it's
so what? Go out there and just because people will look at that and say, wow, he's filled with personality. You look at the clone and he hasn't blinked in 5 minutes.
yep. I think and their mouth looks weird.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, uh, I think that's gonna be a part of the winning formula moving forward
Mhm.
is showing up as a real human.
Yeah.
And that like, I listened to a video yesterday from a big influencer in the male coaching space, and after I got past all the cuss words, I could find the message, and he was basically saying the coaching industry is dead, uh, basically blaming AI for it. People he was basically saying the frauds, I don't really like the word, but
Well,
he was very harsh, but
right.
AI is exposing those that really don't have the ability to help with a transformation,
Yeah.
and so the winners are gonna be the humans that have the skills, and I say humans. It's okay, I don't mind I use AI,
Mhm.
but I also know that the people I usually help come to me with pages and pages and pages that Chat GPT or other AI has given them,
Mhm.
thinking like, "Oh, well, I just want put it through chat and I have my whole outline for the thing I wanna create." Well, then what do you need me for?
Right.
Well, because they can't take that information, they don't know what to do with all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And I have had times where I've had taken their information that chat gave them. I have to put it through my own chat to ask, "What are they what is this supposed to be?" But the humanness, the experience, the real worldness that we have as people is what is going to prevail. You can use chat, you can use Claude, all the things,
Mhm.
but you need to have a real conversation with someone and really figure out what you're trying to do and then know the best next steps to do it.
Mhm.
Chat is going to tell you what it thinks you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what it's meant to do. It's not gonna say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Susan, stop right there. You need to back up and you need to rethink about this." No, it's gonna go, "That's a great idea. You should have been doing this for years." And it's just gonna build you up. But
Yeah.
a person is gonna like me, I will come in and ask, "What are you actually trying to do?"
Mhm.
And we don't need an entire notebook full of garbage
Yeah.
to get there.
Well, also too though is that if you're going to use AI, and I tell everybody this, use one specifically to get to know you, to
Yeah,
get to know your idiosyncrasies, your everything. Plug in your videos, just so that when it spits out stuff, it's going to sound like you. It's going to take your nuances. But if you keep bouncing back and forth from Claude, Perplexity, Manus, ChatGPT, none of them are going to get to know who you are, and it's not going to be very effective. And then you have all this garbage. Oh well, it didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Well, it doesn't sound like me. Well, what did you use? Well, I used a little bit of this and a little bit of. It's a recipe for disaster. Come
yeah.
on.
So I created a custom GPT to help people do just that. And uh, it was just because it was something that I had been doing already. And I was really, instead of trying to just train people how to do it, I trained GPT on how to take people through it. And
Mhm.
honestly, it sounds so simple, but still people don't know how to do this.
Right.
I've taken a lot of assessments over the years, like the DISC and the culture index and all of the things. And then I recently, a few years ago, started kind of dabbling in human design and all of the other kind of in the woo space. And so what I did with mine is I loaded all of that stuff into chat.
Mhm.
So it could see what kind of thinker I am, what kind of worker I am, what kind of, relationship type person I am. And then all the human design stuff is a little bit different. But now when I ask it a question, I say, based off all you know about me, because I've told it all this, and it's not even about putting my videos in or content or any of that, but me as the just a person,
Mhm.
then I can ask it a question and get a more educated response from it
Right.
instead of basing it off of just whatever their program says. So
Mhm.
if if you haven't done that, it's very simple to upload a PDF of whatever assessment you've taken or assessments and then be able to have conversations with it about that. Like, "Oh, I'm a IS or whatever, high S. What does that really mean? Do I wanna go and research disc things? No. Chat already knows all the stuff. I can just say, "Okay, here's my disc profile. What kind of situations would I be best working in?" Right?
Mhm.
Or how would this equate to me being a better leader? If I have a team of people that I have to, oversee, being able to give it that data is what's going to make it powerful for you.
Mhm.
It's not going to replace you, and it shouldn't be thinking for you in like all the ways. And this is what I talked about before, and you probably agree that I was on a team call the other day and I asked the my client for a roadmap of start to finish. What happens in this 90 days? Oh, here, let me put it in chat GPT. Let me ask chat. It's like,
Right.
no. It's your expertise, it's your plan, not chat's plan.
Right.
And so do you see that a lot when you talk with people, whether they're clients or whatever, that now they're just relying on this computer system to think for them?
Mhm. Yeah, the other day I got a quote from somebody, and it went through, I think it was 16 weeks, and, uh, and I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, yeah, it was generated by AI because it's so rigid.
Oh, I
And I
know.
looked at that, and I'm thinking, I could probably have all this done in 3 weeks, and you're stretching it out 16 weeks, and I don't do one thing at a time, I might do 5 things.
Mhm.
We as humans, we love to be able to just get shit done, and I'm looking at this going, "Good lord, this is taking too long."
Yeah.
I think that AI is great, it's a tool, and I tell everybody, it's a tool, like a hammer or a screwdriver, you just gotta learn how to use it the right way,
Yeah.
but they think of it as this savior that's gonna help them, bring about, their golden ticket. They're going to make all this kind of money, and all these gurus that probably haven't sold anything are saying, "Wow, this AI made me $10,000," and they're selling a prompt, and the AI didn't make anything. You made something. You had the AI simplify it.
Yeah. I think you should share the story you shared with me before we started recording at the airport.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and I
How
have shared this
dependent people are
before.
getting.
I've
I just
shared this
can't believe
before.
it.
Last year when I was in Europe, I was in the Paris airport, and the gal next to me was searching on ChatGPT, while we were in line at Dunkin' Donuts. She wanted to find the most perfect American donut, and I'm like, "You're in Paris. What the hell you want a donut for?" But she's
And then
looking
pick
at
the
Chat.
one you think you want, not what chat thinks you want.
It's
That's
like,
the problem.
and my wife loves the crullers, and I just love the plain old-fashioned ones, but she ended up getting some chocolate glazed donut, and I was watching. She ate about 3 bites and pitched it because it's not
Not what she
French.
wanted.
It's not French, pastry. It's American donut. So it's but the thing is Europe is embracing AI faster than American companies are, and I get it. It's new, but here's the thing about Europe is they never really liked Google anyway. So anything that's not Google, they're going to embrace. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I've written books on AI. One of them was how to create prompts for AI in when you create video for film. But then there's
Mhm.
also a book called AI Advantages on how small businesses can take advantage of AI to be bigger and better than their competitors. And I gave some of those books away just because I felt that people need to learn this stuff. But coming from the SEO world, I had my first SEO book in 2014, which went
Mhm.
number one bestseller in 4 countries because it spoke not just the truth, but it made understanding SEO easy. And a lot of the stuff in that book is still relevant today. It's just now everybody's focused on ranking on AI. Here's the
Yeah.
thing, you don't always rank on AI, but it's the prompts that you use to say, look, I'm searching for X company that does this, this, and this in this area. What do you suggest? AI is going to filter out all the noise from the searches and give you one option, whereas Google will give you a whole page of options.
Yeah.
So, knowing how
And
to
the
do that.
Google options will have paid people
Yeah,
on them. Right now, that's not the case.
right.
That could change though.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is that those people who use AI, most of them pay $20 or $30 or whatever it is they pay. So they're making their money that way. I'm sure that when they start collecting ads, our costs will go down maybe.
I
Who
hope that
knows?
doesn't happen. I'd
Um,
rather just continue to pay and not have advertising.
yeah, yeah. So, I talked about my books. I see you have a couple in the background. Let's talk about those.
Yeah. So I just published my first book myself uh in August.
Nice.
And really it's not huge, just like so I was feeling kind of bad about it. Like, oh, nobody's going to want this after I put it all together and did all the stuff because it's only 80 pages,
Okay.
right? So I was like, cuz all the books I have, they're like big books. And
Most of my books are between 120 and 200 pages. I just try to keep it simple.
well, the way that I work with others is quickly. Just like you were saying, we don't need 16 weeks to do the thing we need to do. And in fact, one of my core offers is working with someone for a day, like one day, because I work with very busy professionals,
Mhm.
right? They wouldn't consider themselves an entrepreneur necessarily, but they don't have 90 days of hour-long courses, every video, whatever, to go in and log into something. So they'd rather just have me help them go get the result. So in this marketing space, it's real noisy. And I just kinda like you said earlier, I don't know if it was while we're recording or not, but kinda burned out. I got kinda burned out on all this game of ads and posts and things. So I was like, "Alright, what can I do different?" So I wrote a book. And basically, I just took my framework and created an action guide is really all it is. It's just step by step. You read the chapter, there's action steps in each chapter, there's journal prompts like for reflection in each one. And by the end, you will have a really great outline of what it is you're trying to create. Whether that and take it's all about taking your expertise, whatever you have, and figuring out what's best for you to get that out into the world.
Mhm.
And so that's what it is. And I called it 6 moves to your next 6 figures because there's 6 steps you take. And so far, I mean, it's it's the exact framework that I use with a client, and I just wanted other people to have access to that because not everyone has the means
Right.
or, the knowledge to hire someone like
Well,
me.
and here's the thing is that all the experiences I've ever done are in my books. I don't shy away from that, and people are like, "Well, Rob, some of that's proprietary to you." You know what? Nothing's proprietary anymore. I
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people who have trademarked this and then but our knowledge is what helps makes us the authority, and, you know, I wrote a book, earlier in the year called, Marketing the Magic, Behind the Scenes Strategies from Walt Disney World. It's just from my various trips back and forth to Disney over the last 20 years, and me being the marketer I am,
Uh-huh.
I don't go there just to ride rides, although that's a bonus. I go there to learn
Yeah.
because they're a master class in not only marketing but strategy. So to you, yes, share those your guidance out there.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, Rob, I don't want to give away all my my good stuff." Why not? It's like,
So,
you
when I
know,
used to teach people about, lead magnets and funnels, that kind of thing, creating the lead magnet is where a lot of people got stuck.
yeah,
And, basically, I would just tell them, whatever you would take something you would charge for and give that away. Here's the deal, you can and this was back before we had everything we have now. You can get any information anytime you want it now on your phone, in your computer, wherever. There's no short of information. Back when I was doing this, it was where information was king, right?
mhm,
So now information is everywhere, but it's the implementation and the guidance that is king. So give it away. People aren't going to use it until you come and until they hire you to help them use it. That's just the nature of people. There'll be a few people that can take action based off of whatever they've learned. But that's they're just not going to do it. That's just people don't. And
no,
I don't know why that is now, but they just don't.
and I've had so many people all over the world, they'll get my book or books, and they'll say, "Rob, this is great, um, but I need help. I don't wanna do this. Can you do it?"
Yeah.
And so, my first couple books were, one was social media, one was SEO, and then in 2015, I decided I'm gonna just write a book about life lessons, and, it's called Lessons from the Dojo because it was based on my kids going to
Mhm.
to the karate studio, and it was 101 kick butt, ways to improve your life, business, and relationships, and I thought, "This is gonna be great. People are gonna love it." I launched the book the same week we went to Italy, and the launch fizzled. And I thought, yeah, it's a great book. It didn't start making money until like 6 years later.
Yeah.
So not every idea that we have is going to make money. But as you persist, as you stay consistent with your message, as you continue to get out there and grow, people are going to come back and say, wow, this is great information. Or they'll
Mhm.
say, I'm just seeing your stuff. Are you new? No, I've been in business for years.
Yeah.
But it's just, you have to get out there and promote yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people fail. They want to create a business, but they don't wanna market. They don't wanna do any of the heavy lifting. They just, and that's why I think a lot of times buying a franchise is appealing because all the heavy lifting's already been
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, and there's a brand recognition most times.
Right. You
But
know,
you still gotta put in the work.
yeah, you still have to put in the work, and we wanna talk about, we're gonna circle back to exponential impact. It's been what we've been talking about throughout this whole interview. You know, there's a lot of impact that you can have in the world. And I know there's a lot of ambitious people out there that wanna help millions of people. But I wake up every day, I don't wanna help a million people. I don't wanna help 100 people. I just wanna help one person at a time.
Yeah,
And that's the ripple effect that you're gonna have. And
yeah.
if you can, my favorite acronym is JOMO, the joy of missing out. And I
Mhm.
know that a lot of us marketers love to use FOMO, fear of missing out, in our marketing and trying to get people into our funnel. But a lot of times, the joy of missing out is going to make you more money than the fear of missing out will. So, you know, that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. Something that shifted for me, not even that long ago was I don't like to talk about pain, and I don't want to be someone's deliverer
Right.
from the pain. That's not my goal. And so I like to talk to people that I want to help about the joy, the good part,
Mhm.
the aspirational side. But when you've been programmed like I have from the beginning of my marketing journey to talk about pain, 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 agitate, 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 and then, oh, you're the solution. It's really hard to reprogram your thinking and your approach to go over to the other side of the like, "Oh, well, wouldn't it be nice if," right? Or think about this. It's not like I'm gonna help you save your mortgage, by creating some course. No. That those days for me are over. I don't talk about saving anyone from
Mm.
anything, but I love to take people that are altruistic. They have an intrinsic motivation to help others. And I know that they have ideas that they want to get out into the world so they can continue to help others outside of their, say, medical practice or whatever they're doing.
Mhm.
Uh, that's the person that I love to help. They're not here to make a buck or, solve some problem for themselves. They've just done this thing over the course of their career and now they want to share that with others. And it goes against that whole, pour the salt in the wound as much as you can until they can't take it anymore.
Yeah, social media has made things, I think, a little bit convoluted. It was supposed to bring people together. That's what social means. The problem is it's now just a trigger mechanism, and the people that really shouldn't have a voice now have a platform, and they yell at people, and so the people that really want to share their marketing, share what they do, share who they can help, you know they're like, I can't do this anymore. Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get pushback, and they don't want to be there.
That's how I felt, and so that's a big reason why I wrote the book too, is so now I have this tool that I can go I felt like I needed something other than just myself, that's a discussion for another day, to qualify me to be in a room with humans.
Mhm.
So, going out and interacting with people in person rather than shouting to this void behind a keyboard. And so that was a big motivation for me to write the book and to publish it is to then start securing those types of spots outside of my office. And so far, I mean it's doing a good job for that and it gives me freedom, you could say, from being chained to this computer.
Mhm.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah. So how do people find you, and where do they get their book?
Well, I'm Amanda Dake pretty much everywhere. So on all the social platforms. I don't have the TikTok. I just
Yeah, it's you're
I
probably
don't
better
do it.
off
I just
not having one.
I did it for a little bit. I actually created an account there for a dog that I had, and then he passed away. But it took off like crazy. But it just wasn't it's not my passion, right? So I'm pretty much though everywhere. I have a podcast just like you do. You can find my book on book.amandadake.com and on Amazon. But if you get it from me, then you get some little extra things. Um, so yeah, that's the goal is to just help as many people as possible. And instead of helping one person at a time or 30 kids at a time in a classroom, now I get to help one person through like a VIP experience. That person is going to then go help who knows how many more, hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people. That's where my exponential impact comes in, is like, I'm going to focus on helping those who want the help. I'm not trying to be a tugboat here. I'm a North Star guiding, person. I want to help one who then wants to help many, many more. And that's my purpose. I think that's why. I mean, that's the whole purpose of everything I've done in my life. If I look back at all the things I've done and tried and done differently, it's all about that.
Well, you're still a teacher. It's in
Yeah,
the heart,
it's just in a
but
different
it's
kind of
you're not
way.
teaching kids anymore. You're teaching, well, can't say you're not teaching kids because some of us entrepreneurs are kids at heart, but you're teaching people how to do things better.
Yeah,
So,
yep,
so people should go to a website, amandadake.com, or
yep.
should they go somewhere else?
That works.
That works. So I want to
You
thank
can ask
everyone for
Chat
listening.
GPT where to find me.
Go to ChatGPT while you're in the Paris airport and look for
Yeah.
and what pairs best with Amanda? What kind of donut?
Oh, I don't know. Old fashioned,
Old
I
fashioned.
think.
That's what I like. So I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Adios.